Thanks, Devontae. And that forecast is perfect for a day out on the water. Now, we're here to talk about one of the largest paddle races in Louisiana, and it kicks off this weekend. Wes Vanderhoff is here to tell us about the annual River Rat Paddle Challenge. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is an event that raises money for nonprofits.
Absolutely. Yes.
Talk to me about how important that is for the community.
Absolutely. So this event is actually fundraising money for the Kiroli Foundation as well as the ACE School.
And this has been a shift for the past 7 years. You've raised money for hats, and now you've shifted your attention to these two causes. Tell me why.
Yeah, absolutely. So hats were actually closed this year, and so we wanted to make sure people still had an opportunity to get out in the river and participate in a paddle event while also fundraising money for a great cause.
Awesome. Now, this is an event that costs money to register for, and the deadline is near.
Yes, the deadline is tonight at 11:59. So if you're interested in paddling with us this year, you'll need to go onto the riverratpaddlechallenge.com and register.
And what can people get for that registration?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, you get to paddle the Ouachita River. It's 7.7 miles long, but you also get a lunch and get to be part of the race day.
Have you participated in it?
I did, yes. So the last 2 years I had an opportunity to be part of the paddle challenge and had absolute blast paddling the river.
Awesome. And it's 7.7 miles. You don't have to be athletic to participate.
No, it's a paddle challenge. So we do offer awards for those who finish first in their category. However, you can finish on your leisure.
Awesome. And I want to talk about the importance of ACE Charter School and Kiroli Foundation. Why choose those foundations to give to?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Kiroli Foundation is directly focused on building our parks in the city of West Monroe, as well as ACE being creating a lifelong learning opportunity for the students who live with ASD.
Awesome. And that's with autism spectrum disorder.
Yes, that's correct.
A school that just opened. All right. And for people who may just be tuning in, registration deadline is tonight. It's at 11:59, so you have all day. Racers will need to wear life jackets and have their official race number displayed on their boat. What else do they need?
Yeah, no, just a boat and a paddle to come out and be part of it, but we have a shuttle to get from the starting line to the finish line, and so you'll be able to make your way there, no problem.
Is it BYOB, bring your own boat?
It is bring your own boat, yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much. This information will be on our website, knoe.com, after the show.